Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a bit different. I'm going to be showing you how I made a DIY slipping Ankara mask to also match with my slipping Ankara bonnet. Not only did I make a bonnet, I also made a head wrap with the dress to match. For those of you who are interested in seeing the dress, I'm going to insert a picture of the dress. So when I go to bed at night, I just use the face mask as well as the hair bonnet. And when I want to go out for a fancy party or a summer party, I can wear the dress and the bonnet as the head wrap. I love this so much. Not only did I make one, I made another one to match my other slipping bonnet. Just for my subscribers on this channel, I also made 2 extra slipping masks which I'll be giving away for free. I'm going to be running a giveaway over a period of 4 weeks. I'll put the details at the end of this video. Make sure you watch and you also participate. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, honestly, I don't know what you're waiting for. Make sure you hit that subscribe button now, okay? Let's get started with the tutorial. You'll be needing some materials for this project. First of all, you have to get an old slipping mask. This mask I don't really use anymore. I actually don't really like it. I'm going to be tracing a pattern out of that mask and I'll be tracing it on a bit of paper. I'll also be needing an old piece of Ankara fabric, which I previously used in a different project. I'll also be needing some elastic band. This elastic band is about 1/2 inch wide and that'll be used to hold the mask around my face. You'll be needing some silk fabric. Now I prefer to go for a dark color. The dark color stops the light from passing through. I'll also be needing some felt fabric as well. Again, I go for a really dark color because it stops the light from passing through. You'll also need a fabric cutting scissors as well as a paper cutting scissors. I like to use 2 different scissors because I don't want my fabric scissors getting blunt when I use it to cut paper. Now we can start working. The first thing I do is I place my old face mask on the paper and I use a marker pen to trace around this. Once I have finished tracing, I close in the gaps. In addition to that, I also put a 0.5 inch sewing allowance around my pattern. You can also measure with your tape measure, but I often freehand. The next step now is to figure out how much fabric you need. What I do is I take my tape measure and I measure across the length of my pattern. In this case, I measured about 9.5 inches across. So I'm going to assume I've got 10 inches in this case. I also measure the height. In this case, I've got roughly about 6 inches. So let's just check again to make sure it's correct. After checking the lengths again, what I'll be doing is I'll be cutting 10 inches by 6 inches on all 3 Ankara felt and silk fabric. I'll then proceed to cutting out the pattern using my paper scissors. Once I've done that, I place my pattern on the felt and I use the pattern to cut out the felt fabric using my paper scissors. This is what the felt pattern piece looks like. I'll then move on to the next stage, which is to cut out my Ankara piece. I place the felt as well as the pattern on my Ankara fabric. I pin it. With the power of video editing, I go from this to this. I do the same thing for my silk fabric. I place my pattern on it. Again, with a bit of editing, I go from this to this. Now I have all the 3 pieces that will be making up my slipping mask. I've got my felt fabric, I've also got my Ankara, and I've also got my silk fabric that would be the inner lining of the slipping mask. You will also need to cut out your elastic about 11 to 12 inches. Make sure it's not too short. The next step is to prepare your pieces for sewing. You need to flip your Ankara fabric to the other side and place your felt fabric on the wrong side of the Ankara piece. Once you've done that, you flip it to the right side and then you reach for your elastic band. You need to first sew a basting stitch on either side of the elastic band at about 0.25 inches. The whole idea is to hold this together before you put your silk fabric on it. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine and then I'll be back in a minute. Right, so I have now completed the basting stitch. The next step will be for me to take the silk fabric and then place the silk fabric on the right side to the right side of the Ankara fabric, like so. Okay, now that I've done this, I will now need to sew all the way around. And when I sew all the way around, I'll leave a 3-inch gap at the top so that I can turn the slipping mask inside out. I have now pinned my fabric pieces together and I will sew with a 0.5-inch sewing allowance. Don't forget to leave the 3-inch gap at the top. I will take this to my sewing machine and I'll be back in a second. This is what it looks like after I have sewn all the pieces together with my little gap at the top. And the next thing I'll do is I'll take a scissors to notch all the way around. Be very careful not to cut your elastic piece. And then you can start to turn your mask inside out. While you do that, be very careful not to rip your fabric. Just take it easy. You can also use your scissors to point out the edges and just lay them out smoothly. I have now finished turning the fabric inside out and you can see that the slipping mask is now coming together. Now you need to close that 3-inch gap. There are different ways of doing this. You can either use your sewing machine to close it up or use a piece of thread and a needle. I will be using thread and needle to hand stitch this. So while you're hand stitching it, be very careful so that you don't hurt yourself, and it only takes you a couple of minutes. I mean, if you want to use your sewing machine, please go ahead. No one's stopping you. The whole idea is to just make sure you close it. And there you go, this is my finished work. I'm so proud of this slipping mask. Another thing I like about this slipping mask is it matches with my slipping bonnet. And I just can't wait to try this on. And there you go, that is the final look of the slipping mask. Now that we have that out of the way, I'm going to share with you the details of the giveaway. The giveaway is going to run for 4 weeks and I'll be giving away 2 slipping masks to 2 lucky subscribers. Not only do you have to subscribe to my channel on YouTube, you also need to follow me on Instagram. Yes, please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @curlylocks. In addition to that, you also need to put a comment under this YouTube video telling me what you love most about my YouTube channel and what other type of content you would like me to create. After 4 weeks, I'm going to select the winners and announce them on my Instagram page. And I'm also gonna reach out to you in your DM. When putting your comments, make sure you also put your Instagram handle as well so I can go out there and check you out on Instagram. Finally, if you've loved watching this video, if you've loved this tutorial, if you know you're gonna try it out, if you know you love the slipping mask, make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, guys. Until the next video, stay blessed.